It's been 4 months since Stonewall fell. The walls are gone now, bulldozed and stripped for scrap, but the ghosts remain. The air around the site feels heavy, like the earth itself remembers what happened there. Most people have moved on. The headlines have faded, the outrage replaced by the next scandal. But for Maria Reyes, the story isn't over, not even close. Because truth doesn't end when the cameras stop rolling. It only gets more dangerous. Since the day she leaked the Stonewall files, Maria's life has been reduced to shadows. She's moved 3 times, changed her number, lives out of a duffel bag, and sleeps in roadside motels, never in the same one twice. Every time she turns on the news, she hears about another suicide, another accident, involving someone who once worked at Stonewall. She knows what that means. Someone is cleaning house. One night she gets a message from an unknown number, a single phrase that freezes her blood. You missed one file. Attached is a link to an encrypted folder. When she opens it, the screen floods with documents she's never seen before. These aren't about the prison. They're about the program, Project Renewal, an experimental rehabilitation initiative, or so it was called, funded by the same private corporation that owned Stonewall. On paper, it looked like a second chance for inmates to work, study, and reintegrate. But the real goal was darker. The inmates were test subjects, human data points for chemical endurance. Forced into exposure experiments, their reactions tracked and monetized. It wasn't rehabilitation. It was human testing, disguised as prison labor. And there, buried deep in the files, is something that makes Maria's hands shake. A document marked Control Group Phase 3, Participant, Eli Mercer. Status, alive. Her breath catches. Could he have survived? The timestamp on the file is recent, only 2 months old. And the coordinates and the metadata trace back to a location in rural Virginia, an abandoned government facility surrounded by farmland and forest. Against every instinct screaming for her to run, Maria decides to go. She drives through the night, headlights slicing through mist and rain. The road narrows, the trees thicken, and eventually the signal on her phone dies. Ahead, through the fog, she sees it, a compound of concrete buildings surrounded by a rusted fence. Faded letters still hang over the gate. Federal Research Institute, closed facility. She breaks in through a side entrance, her flashlight beam cutting through the dark. Inside, the walls are lined with old lab equipment, shattered glass, and medical charts. The smell of mold and ammonia hangs heavy. Down one hallway, she finds a locked door labeled Restricted Phase 3. The lock is new, clean, out of place. She pries it open with trembling hands. What she finds inside steals her breath. Rows of beds, V-drips, restraints, and folders stacked high on metal shelves. Every one of them marked with inmate numbers she recognizes. And then she sees it, a small metal plaque on one of the beds. E. Mercer, minus 40,972. The bed is empty, but beside it a paper sits clipped to a file, a medical discharge, dated only 3 weeks ago. Destination, private relocation, level 7 clearance. Recipient, Department of Correctional Oversight, Washington, D.C. Her stomach turns. They moved him again. They're still moving him. Suddenly the hum of electricity cuts through the silence. The overhead lights flicker on. Maria freezes. She's not alone. A voice echoes from behind her, deep, calm, familiar. I warned you, Officer Reyes. Some truths aren't meant to be found. Warden Grant Halbrook steps into the light. He looks older now, thinner, his once polished authority cracked by exhaustion and something darker, desperation. Maria backs away, her pulse racing. You're supposed to be in custody, she whispers. He smiles, hollow. Custody is for men who don't have friends in higher places. He walks closer, the sound of his boots echoing through the room. Eli Mercer was never supposed to die, he says quietly. He was supposed to disappear. That's how the system survives, not by killing the truth, but by hiding it until everyone forgets. Maria's voice trembles. You made him a ghost. Halbrook stares at her for a long moment. No, he made himself one. And now? You will too. He draws a gun. The next few seconds blur. The crack of a shot, the clang of metal, the sound of glass shattering. Maria dives behind a cabinet, heart pounding in her throat. Her hand gropes for anything she can use and finds a fire extinguisher. As Halbrook steps closer, she swings. The impact knocks the gun from his hand. He stumbles, and she bolts for the door, clutching the flash drive she grabbed from the desk. Gunfire follows her down the hall, sparks flying off the walls. She bursts through a side exit into the cold rain, running for her car. Headlights blind her, black SUVs, unmarked, pulling into the lot. She dives into the woods, mud splattering her clothes, branches tearing at her arms. Behind her, voices shout. The rain drowns them out. Hours later, she emerges onto a back road, soaked and bleeding, but alive. She hitchhikes her way to a safe house run by a journalist she once trusted. When she plugs the drive into his laptop, she sees the final revelation. A list of government officials tied to Project Renewal. Senators, judges, CEOs. The conspiracy stretches farther than she ever imagined. But among the files is one final video, grainy, dated only a week earlier. A man sits in a dimly lit room, staring into the camera. It's Eli, alive. His face is gaunt, but his eyes burn with the same quiet fire. If you're seeing this, he says, it means they haven't stopped. It means the truth still has enemies. But it also means you found me, or what I left behind. Don't stop. Don't let them erase us again. He leans closer to the camera. Reyes, if you made it this far, you know what to do. The video cuts out. Maria stares at the screen, tears mixing with rain on her face. She exhales slowly, and then she starts uploading. Every file, every video, every name. Within hours, the internet explodes. Hashtags trend. Protests reignite. The nation wakes up again, angrier, louder, more determined. And somewhere, in a hidden room, Eli watches the storm unfold on a small monitor. A faint smile crosses his face. He reaches out, presses a button, and the screen goes dark. Because the truth doesn't need him anymore. It's already free. The sound fades to silence. Only the rain remains. And in that silence, one phrase lingers like a heartbeat. They can bury men, but not what they stood for. And that is what they still don't want you to see.